Thank you, Suzanne. 10 minutes to talk about branding the grid. That's not a lot. I gave a very simple structure to my presentation. I'm going to talk a bit about the grid. I'm going to talk a bit about the brand. And I'm going to talk about how we try to activate the brand and to give some emotion to it. So let me talk about the grid first, because that explains the challenges that we're facing from a technological point of view, but also from a financial point of view, and indeed also from a branding point of view. From the non-Europeans among us, on the left you see the Netherlands, on the right you see Germany, but that's not the entire country of Germany. It's the part that we service. There are 4 TSOs in Germany. We are a state-owned company. That means we have only one shareholder, the Dutch Minister of Finance. But as you can see, the challenges in Germany are tremendous for us. Of course, in the wake of the announcement of the Energiewende, the energy transition in Germany, it is our task to make sure that the offshore wind energy, which you see right on top, there you see a number of connections on top of the North Sea, which need to be connected to the onshore grid, and from there transported across the border to the neighboring countries, and ultimately, of course, to the south of Germany. So this is our challenge. On the left you see the Netherlands and the North Sea. There we are also building, or preparing I should say, the construction of a high voltage grid on sea. And this also requires us to really reinforce the onshore grid to make sure that once the offshore grid in the sea is there, that all the electricity can be, that will be generated can be coped with. The brand. As you see, this is another structure. Technical people like structure, so I built a brand house. And this is our value proposition, which clearly shows what the relation is between the vision, the mission, and the values. And this is what I used to really spark the discussion with our board of management 4 years ago. And I can tell you, only to agree on 3 sentences, what is our mission and what is our vision, that is can be quite a challenge. Once it has been agreed on, you have a messaging guide, and you know what the key messages are that you need to find the proof points for to be able to, let's say, to make sure that the brand comes alive. The foundation is non-negotiable. These are our core values, the pillars, the brand pillars, which really translate to stakeholder value, strategic priorities. This is the strategic plan which forms the pathway to realizing our vision. We also, talking about vision, we last year announced our long-term vision on the exploitation of the North Sea when it comes to wind energy. When you look at the objectives of 2050, it is clear that after 2025, 2030, which is roughly the scope of most of the political plans of our member states in Europe, we need to really generate more wind energy in an exponential way. That's why we launched our vision to build an island between 2030 and 2050, which really enables us to collect the wind energy and to use the island as an interconnector between the members of the various North Sea bordering member states. Obviously, this is quite a challenge, especially because it will really involve the changes in legislation and regulation in the various member states. Now, this is all nice, but this is all theory and a big story. So what's in it for our stakeholders, and how do we really bring some emotion to this big story? So basically, what we need to do is we need to make our brand look a bit cool. So basically, I'm sending out my people and tell them, go out and look for nice news items, look for pearls to really show what we're doing and to really spark the interest of some of our stakeholders. And believe it or not, our business, at least I think so, is very photogenetic. This is, by the way, this is a converter station, and we have meanwhile 7 or 8 of them in the German North Sea. And this was built in Dubai, and then by ship it was transported to the north of Germany. And the good thing is you can actually visit it. Not literally. You can visit it in our stand there virtually, and you can actually fly in a helicopter to this converter station, which we need because the wind farms are 80 kilometers roughly outside of the coast, so we need to have these huge offshore converter stations to collect the energy, convert it from AC to DC, and bring it onshore to connect to the onshore grid. As you can see, photogenetic pictures. Now, this all looks nice, but does that mean that everybody's happy with what we're doing? And I'm afraid that is not the case. I think really that the energy transition also comes with a price, because we are facing also resistance. As you can imagine, I showed you our challenge in Germany. That's basically bringing the wind energy from north to south, and we're talking about a distance of about 800 kilometers. And along that route, you meet a lot of landowners. You meet a lot of people who are not too keen on our plans, because they would rather have that the route would pass their home or their farm. So we need to keep in contact with lots of stakeholders. And as you all know, nowadays with social media, it's very easy to mobilize discontent, dissatisfaction. And indeed, we need to really be in contact with them. Also, children are being used and being mobilized. This is a nice example where you see the giant, which is called tennis, is really reaching out to the stars to make sure that the lights keep on. At the same time, it tramples on the animals and the birds in the farm or in the woods where the children are living. And this is a booklet that was produced by some activists in a very kind way, I must say, and it was distributed as a present during Christmas. So, what we need to do, we need to go into dialogue, and we do that hundreds of times a year. Very small scale meetings on one-to-one dialogue to really listen to people, because that is most often the most important thing to do. We explain what it means that we go underground instead of overground when we need to really realize a connection. We also have some educational programs for children. And we also look for ways to really bond with the local communities where we are active with construction work by, for instance, sponsoring, let's say, community projects. But my last point, we need to communicate in a simple and playful way. This, by the way, is one of the members of our royal house, our royal family, really facilitating a discussion between children and our board of management to really open up to ideas from children. And we also invite children to play with in this case, generating their own energy from fruit. Just basically trying to get people interested in electricity. This is another example of, let's say, gamification. This is a stakeholder game that we play internally to really also tell our technical people, make them aware that they need to deal with stakeholder interests and really to open up the discussion to jointly be able to have this discussion interaction with our stakeholders. Last but not least, this is a picture from our virtual vision in Berlin, where we explain in a very new way on how the energy works, what the stakes are, and what our role is in that. And that indeed finishes with a virtual tour to one of our converter platforms, which you are welcome to experience yourself again in the corner next door. Thank you very much.